Dance now, your new home.
Yes.
It's a beautiful home.
It is beautiful, yes, thank you.
Yeah, and we have a nice view to the water.
You have the Baltic Inlet, yes.
Yeah. And here I see a very nice picture of you and the President Obama. Tell me about this photo.
Well, I was delighted that I worked with him, and I remember when I first read about him and read his books, his biographies, and listened to him speak, I was very inspired, and I thought that this is a man who has the temperament and the intellect and the capability to be a great leader. And he has been that.
You helped him raise money in the 2 elections, and you were appointed as ambassador. What were your first thoughts when he appointed you as an ambassador?
I was surprised and honored.
Did you really want to be an ambassador in the first place?
Well, I didn't really know how one becomes an ambassador, but when I found out what an opportunity it is to really make a difference, I was very, very honored and excited to be an ambassador, yes.
And in Sweden as well, because you've been here a couple of times before.
Yes, and actually that's an important point, because it's an honor to be appointed by the President of the United States to be an ambassador, but it's an additional honor, I really feel, to be asked to serve in Sweden, because it's a country that has been on the forefront of so many great changes in Europe and in the world, and we share so many values, and we have a long history of friendship and partnership, so it was a special honor to come here. You were appointed in 2014, but the Republicans blocked your nomination for, I believe, 18 months or something. But now you're here, finally. But when the new president is elected, the president will probably appoint their own ambassadors. So you probably will be here a shorter time. But will you be able to do any important work during this time? Well, I certainly hope so. Yeah. My focus is on the now. Whatever time we have, my focus is to look at the issues that are important to us, to our countries, and work with our Swedish partners to advance them. Today we have a very complicated security situation in the Baltic area with Russia and with the Ukraine situation, and also the refugee crisis. But how important is it to you to keep an eye on that kind of questions? Well, you've raised a very good question, and 2 very important and pressing areas of challenge that we face today. We have a very strong partnership with Sweden. The United States has a very strong collaboration with Sweden, specifically with regards to Russian behavior in this region. We very much appreciate the work that Sweden has done, for example, in Ukraine, in support of the sanctions against Russia. And it has been a wonderful partner in providing assistance to Ukraine. We continue to work with Sweden in advancing the partnership that we have in terms of bilateral security and military cooperation, as well as ensuring security in the region. And Sweden has been, as you know, a very strong partner of NATO for many, many years. And we very much appreciate that cooperation. And I will do what I can to facilitate that partnership that Sweden has. Would you like to see Sweden as a NATO member in the future? Well, that's up to Sweden. What I always say, what I've said consistently, is that we very much value the strong partnership and interest that Sweden has showed in working with NATO. We see its value, and we know that Sweden sees its value. So it is not up to us. If and when Sweden decides to join NATO, it will be welcomed. But our focus is to continue the important work that we're doing together on those matters. You're the first female U.S. ambassador to Sweden and the first Iranian-born U.S. ambassador ever, I believe. What does it mean to finally have a female ambassador here and also with an Iranian background? Well, those 2 firsts were brought to my attention. I wasn't aware of them. And I think that, President Obama talks about the power of your example. Do not underestimate the power of your example. And to the extent that someone may look at my example and think that something may be possible for them, that this is the first time someone has done this, and so therefore it can be done, I think that's wonderful. And I have looked certainly to people in my life to be inspired by their example. But I've always looked at what I've done in terms of where can I go to make a difference and what are the things that I want to get done. So that's what my focus has been, and this is just an added bonus, I suppose.
What's your relation to Iran today?
Well, I was born there, as you know. It is part of the mosaic of my life, if you will. I've lived in many different countries, and wherever I've lived, I've tried to learn something and take away something to make myself a better person. And the relationship that I have today is that it's a country that has given me rich literature and poetry, that has taught me about human nature in so many ways. When I was very pleased to be able to read those works, and that enriched me. I think it's an important country on the world stage, and I follow very closely what is going on and in terms of the progress that the United States has made, that President Obama has made in our relationship with that country.
Do you think Iran can play an important role in the politics in the Middle East or in the refugee crisis and also with the Western world in the future?
Absolutely.
What do you think of this right now? We have many countries in Europe are closing their borders, and I was thinking you came from Iran and you were able to make a new life and so on. What do you think when you see all those pictures of people fleeing?
Well, I think it's a human tragedy, and you don't need to have come from Iran or have my background to really feel for these people. And we very much appreciate what Sweden has done in this area in terms of the generosity with which it has welcomed many of these people. And I can tell you that when the United States welcomed me, I felt that that there's value in diversity, that it's something that has shaped my life, that has added richness and, frankly, creativity in the way that I address issues.
Right now there's a presidential race going on in America. Do you think the Americans are ready for a female president this time?
Well, there certainly is a lot of excitement about that and about the election process right now in the United States. I think that what people are looking for is someone who can address the many challenges that are present today, and we have a number of very good candidates that will be providing us with those options.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, of course.
Do you think America is ready this time for a female president?
Absolutely.
Before we go, I know that Pippi Longstrump or Pippi Longstocking, as you say in America, meant a lot to you as a child growing up in Iran. Why was that?
Well, I was a voracious reader, and that's one of the books that I read, and it made an impression on me because she was a strong and independent and irreverent little girl. And I thought that it was fun that she got to do things that she wanted to do.
So she was kind of a role model for you as a kid?
One of many.